Welcome to another episode of Unguarded. My name is Joe Smith, here with my incredible wife,
Beck.
and we're glad that you joined us. Today's gonna be really special. As on every episode, this is all about having open and honest conversations about relationships, about life. And we have some dear friends, some incredible people here with us. So you want to do the honors and letting everybody know?
Okay.
We're so curious who's here, what's coming.
We have Kevin and Esther Loo
Hi.
in the house.
In
Yeah,
the
thanks for having us.
house. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's a privilege.
We feel honored. Thank you.
I'm
You
excited.
guys are
excited.
amazing. You're so wise.
We're just glad
insightful.
we made it. It's our final day in LA.
Yeah.
Yes.
We made it to this podcast.
It's amazing. Thank you for
And thank you for making us famous after this.
You're welcome.
You could have been anywhere. You could have gone to Disneyland on your last day,
That's
Universal
true.
Studios. You could have gone to the Grove.
No.
But
no.
you chose
This is
to
a way
be-
better option for me. Esther knows. I like this more.
But why don't we first start? Maybe just take a second for those of you maybe that are listening, and this is your first encounter with Kevin and Esther. First of all, you've been missing out if you have not met them or been influenced by their world. And so we would love to just take some time. And why don't you guys talk about what you do and kind of like your world, however you want to explain it.
We come from across the world. About 15 hours time difference in Malaysia.
15 hours.
Yeah, 15 hours.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. And coming from a different culture, it's good we could, I think, talk about our differences. I think that is the message we always carry. It's to help people understand us better, how we think, our cultures, and how we influence each other. So we've been married
19 years.
19 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we
Amazing.
have
Next year's 20.
next year
Yes.
20.
What are we
Milestone.
doing? What's the plan? What's the 20-year plan? Where are we going?
I'm going to not work for 1 year.
Really?
Yeah, we're thinking of taking
Okay.
a huge sabbatical,
Yeah.
probably.
I'm 52 next year.
Are you looking
There's no way.
for 52?
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's a
camera,
double.
zoom in on that 52.
The
skin.
cream
Yeah, what's
and
your
the
skincare
humidity
routine?
of Asian weather.
Yeah. Take us there.
Yeah.
2 boys. We have 2 boys.
Yeah.
The coolest 2 boys ever.
Yeah, 17-year-old and an 8-year-old. So we've been married a long time to think about it.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
Cool. So for me,
Yeah.
well, both of us,
Yeah.
we pastor a church. I also paint
Mm,
I love it.
and I design clothing, shoes.
it's amazing. Did you
And-
design these ones?
Nah,
No, I know you didn't. I don't know why I said that. But
No.
They are cool though.
I thought it was a bit too much if I wear all my own product.
Is that jersey yours?
Nah,
Okay.
it's Japanese. And I coach people,
Yeah.
business, life. But I realized something this last couple of weeks. I'm actually very afraid to be labeled
Mm.
as a certain thing.
Yes.
I never thought about that. Like, oh, so you're an artist. I actually get a wee bit offended
Yeah.
or fearful.
Mm,
I don't know why. It's like, no, I'm not. So I'm trying to find a word that best describe me, but artist is not quite the word for now.
Yeah.
yeah. Do you
So-
have a favorite? Oh, like have you landed on one that you can always change your mind, but what would describe Kevin Loo?
I'm kind of like maybe leaning towards creative pioneer,
Okay.
whatever that means.
Yep.
For now, sounds way cooler than a painter.
Yeah. We're
I
gonna
don't-
put that in when your name pops up on the podcast. It's gonna say creative pioneer.
That's new.
I
I thought
love it.
you wanted to be a strategist.
Yeah,
Kind-
for a season,
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be a strategist
Yeah.
because I just see strategy when people ask me questions.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then I said I'm not a visionary dreamer, but I guess that's seasonal,
Yeah.
like autumn. Anyway, thanks for having us.
We're in your
Yes.
autumn season.
Yeah.
And that's the pioneer. What is it again?
No,
Creative
I think
pioneer.
autumn
Creative
season is where I'm a strategist.
Oh, okay.
Most other time, creative pioneer sounds something I like.
I think so. I mean, you can't be boxed in, and that's amazing. Like, I think you guys you're showing that boxes are invisible really to you, because it's like, I could be a pastor one day, but the next day I'm an artist, next day I'm this. Like, You don't want to be confined to that.
Yep.
And you're proving to other people that you don't have to be confined to that. They don't have to have a certain job, which I loved that about in your podcast on Slow podcast.
Yep.
And you spoke about defining who you are, not what you do.
Yeah.
And I loved that you want to give people space to find out who they are before defining who they are.
It's
Anyway.
very unusual for Asian.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe I never had that perimeter around my life. So I just keep exploring. So I think on another side of my brain, I think people will think that I just cannot stay still and do one thing.
Yeah, sure.
But neither do I want to.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
How
That's cool.
how does that dynamic work with the two of you, with you being so exploring constantly? How do you feel, Esther? Do you feel like, okay, that gives you permission to explore, or
We are
what?
total opposite.
Yeah.
I can stick to just one thing forever.
Yeah.
But because his dynamic is so different, he snaps me out of my box. But if he's always changing, I put him in a box for a while to build on something. So I guess this dynamic has been what we've been working on. We're still adjusting, still learning in our marriage. So our differences is huge, but a lot of times we learn to kind of navigate those differences and play to each of our strengths. Like I'm so fixated on one thing that sometimes it's hard for creativity to happen, right? Or to explore new things. But for him, he's constantly exploring. So he would get annoyed that I'm so fixated with this
Yeah.
one thing,
Yeah.
right? And I will not let it go. And I'm so annoyed at his constant exploration.
Yes.
Like we just moved to a new place. This is probably the fourth or fifth time we've moved
Wow.
In the
in
last,
the last
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our
18,
eldest son
19.
has moved 5 different homes.
Yep.
So we just moved to this new place 2 years ago. That first month we settled down, I kind of knew he has started thinking of the next home.
Wow.
Yep.
So that is how
Constantly changing.
Yes.
yeah. He's just an explorer.
Which I mean, I love change, but do you ever feel like I should make this home? Like because then you could be creative in that sense too, of just going, okay, do you love the place you live in?
Now,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, we
Okay.
do. We do.
It's just that it's not permanent. I think-
Nothing's ever permanent.
No, not for now. I think to help Esther ease down, ease her up into all these changes that how I live,
Yeah.
I just assure her, although I'm constantly changing, you're my only constant that never changes. Oh,
So that seals the deal.
That really
so
is.
like she's like, okay, pack our bags, let's go. So yeah,
That's beautiful. Do you watch Lost? The
Lost?
show, TV
Yes,
show.
yes, I watch.
It's one of my favorite episodes
Yeah.
of TV ever. It's called The Constant. And it's a whole episode about, I want to say spoiler warning, but the show's like 20 years old. So.
Yeah.
But there's an episode about how one character, like there is the constant that they always come back to. And in a show about how everybody is trying to figure out who they are and that they're lost, and broken. There is something really beautiful about having people or things that are constant. That we can dream and we could brainstorm, we could pioneer.
Yeah.
But then, you always have a place to come home.
Yeah.
I love that. I want to take a sec, Esther, and because even, Kevin talking about he's a creative pioneer and always doing new things, but you pioneered something really powerful and incredible during pandemic, just with your business and your life. I'd love if you take some time to talk about what did you do, what did you start, and how is it going?
Yeah, it was my own story of discovering who I am.
Yeah.
So when we did that podcast about discovering who we are, what we do, I struggled with it for many years. I guess being a person that's so constant with that one thing. So when I got married to him, I believed that this is it. This is the only thing that I'm meant to do, become a pastor's wife, right?
Okay.
Serve the church, do this, do that, do what people require of me. And I was happily doing that. Then 10 years have passed. There was that constant question in my head about who are you, Esther?
Wow.
And I really struggled with it because I couldn't find an answer. And he was happy doing all these different things, right? Venturing into fashion, building churches, speaking, traveling. I was happy, but deep down, I was really lost. So this question went on and on and on. And then the pandemic hit and there was a lockdown. I had a lot more time to think about it. So I really crashed. And I was so overwhelmed that one night I just went to him and I said, I don't know who I am. And it just started boiling, right? I was like crying. I couldn't give myself the answer and I was stuck. And he just said, trust God. And that phrase, after a while, it just gets me so mad because
Yeah.
I've been trusting. I don't hear a thing. Like,
Yeah.
who am I? So what led to it was in the pandemic, everybody was going online. So I did not have an Instagram
Wow.
until year 2020. So why I started my Instagram account was because the church was going online and everybody was going online. So my leaders came to me and said, so Esther, you need an Instagram account right now. So I started my account and I didn't know what to do with it. So one day I thought to myself, after all these years of living in those questions about who I am, one day I started asking myself that question, what is the thing that you invested most of your time in? So when I really thought about it, it was my marriage. Why I'm doing what I'm doing, who I'm serving, it's because of my marriage. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna give a voice to my Instagram account. So I will only post about my marriage story and anything about relationship every single day. So that's how I started.
Yeah.
And it attracted a lot of questions from people. So my followers started increasing. So from there, I kind of found the very thing that gives me joy. And it was to help others build healthy and happy marriages.
Yeah.
That is how I ventured into relationship coaching and marriage counseling, helping those in need and beyond my own friends and family. And it has been 4 years now.
Wow.
And I'm doing that full time at this point in my life. And at the same time, the answer of who I am, it's still in my head, but I guess I'm more at peace that it is a journey
Yes.
to discover like what am I made of. All the ups and downs of building a business from scratch, like it really formed a lot of new concepts in my head
Wow.
in discovering that, hey, I am a resilient person. I am, you know, I'm a hard worker. I don't give up. I don't accept defeat. So I just kept going.
Yeah.
And that's how I found back myself throughout the journey.
Wow.
Oh,
That-
amazing.
So you trusted God.
Yeah. So in the end, I guess it's the answer to trusting God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How-
I love that trusting God, but then also it's cool that, because I don't know how much it was like you developed resilience and hard work, all these things, or they were always there and they just took on a whole new color. You know, like it just revealed the things that were always in you. You know, maybe it showed itself in a different context, but
Oh yeah.
you know, it was beautiful to see just that, like, it's as if it just exploded out of your soul, and then the world got to see, I'm sure, what Kevin has already seen in your entire marriage, you know? And it feels really special because I know I've talked to Kevin about this too, of how you did something that, like, you basically created like an industry out of like nothing.
That's
And,
right. Yeah.
and that it wasn't common in Malaysia
Yeah.
to, you know,
Actually, even Asia.
in Asia.
She's probably the only one doing it.
So I have to
Wow.
constantly explain myself what I do.
Wow.
Because people are not used to relationship coach. Like,
Yeah.
How many
What?
people have
What
you
do you do?
spoken to? I mean, how many clients have you had?
So in the last 4 years, I have personally helped and coached 300.
Wow.
300?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and each one of them, how many sessions?
5.
At least.
So I've clocked
Jeez.
in my hours in
Oh
trying
my
to help
gosh.
these couples.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
incredible. That is a lot of work.
It's
lot of people.
overwhelming at times because of the amount of energy I have to put into it. Because
Yeah.
when people open up to me, pouring out their life story, their heartache, sometimes it's really heartbreaking, but I gotta be that voice for them. I gotta be that strength for them to guide them through and helping point out their blind spots. So it takes a lot out of my mind. But however exhausting it is, I was still really happy.
Yes.
And
It's
that
life-giving.
sense, that sense of
Yeah.
fulfillment is really different.
It's beautiful. So I mean, we're with this podcast, right? It's relationship
Yeah.
focused. We've got so many people that listen every week, and you know, like we the other day we were looking on, and we shared this before, but on the analytics for Spotify, and there's people from 30 different countries that
Wow.
are tuning in, and
Uh-huh.
it's like really special. So if you had people from 30 different countries just listening right now, if you could bring, what's the name of your business?
Hardcraft.
Hardcraft?
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
that.
that's cool. If you bring hardcraft to the 30 different countries represented, and if you could coach just some of our people just for a couple minutes, what are there like baseline principles that you would say that would help every relationship or people that are listening right now?
So the one big message that I carry is this: it only takes one person to transform a relationship.
That's
Wow.
But most of us believe that no, it takes two, because if I'm gonna put in the work, I gotta make sure my partner put in the work. Or if I'm gonna make the
Yes.
change, they must change too.
great. Yeah.
Yes.
If I'm the only one changing, there's no point to it. But after coaching these 300 couples, the reality is, in most of relationships and marriages, usually it's only one person that wants to make a change.
Wow.
The other person is probably dragged into that counseling session,
Sure.
or they feel like, oh, they have no other choice. They don't really want to be there. So what happens? Most relationships would then break down. They would fail because then nobody would put in any effort. So why I believe it only takes one to transform a relationship, because I see relationship as a system. I'm trained as an engineer, by the way.
Wow.
So I coach in systems.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
step by
awesome.
step. So if you see your relationship or marriage as a system, what happens in the system is you have all these different moving parts. And in the system, you need all the parts to be functioning to work. So if the whole system is not really working out, but you start changing one part of it, like
Yeah.
starting from you are part of the system. So if I start to change communication, I start to speak loving words to my spouse, right? I would start changing that system, and my spouse can no longer remain the same,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
If we've been stuck with fights, conflicts, and disagreements, but all we do is yell at each other, attack each other, I feel resentful and I withdraw or I lash out, nothing's going to change. But if I start changing what I put into the relationship by first working on myself, and I still give and pour out love, I can essentially change the system eventually.
Wow.
Because my partner that is unloving towards me, they can no longer remain the same if I keep nurturing that relationship.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when that partner sees that genuine change, they have something to build on. So that when they see that, then when the couples come to seek help, it becomes so much easier.
Like catalyzes
Yeah.
something.
For better communication, how to improve intimacy. Then we can talk about all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So that ownership.
We didn't
Very cool.
stumble upon this, but we kind of like developed that understanding because in the beginning, both of us would appear to say coach a couple,
Yeah.
and a couple will appear. But in most cases, one of the partners are the one that engage us.
Yes.
Yep.
Say, for example, Beck, you're the one that engaged us, so you paid for the session.
Yep.
The whole time, we could never deal with the relationship because then, say, Beck is the one that paid for the session
Yeah.
and you came, you're like, of course they're on Beck's side. Beck paid
Yeah.
for this,
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
right? So then we realized the whole session just turned into us becoming a referee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Like, no, that's not what, no, I'm on your side. No,
Yep.
I'm on your side too. Like, then we thought, man, this is really wasting our time, our energy, and we are not getting anywhere. That's when we kind of like, maybe we should not see both right away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we see one first, work on
Yes.
them. Once we see positive changes, then we can invite the partner, the spouse, whoever they may be.
And
Very
along.
interesting. Yeah.
and this this whole concept of it takes one to transform a relationship is so pivotal in the Asian community because Asians are communal, right? So when they get into a relationship or a marriage, usually the thought of divorce is harder because you have to deal with family expectations.
Yeah.
You have to deal with all these different things. So a lot of times they just get stuck. They just choose to live a lesser life, unhappy marriage, and just keep quiet.
That's alive.
Yeah.
Just live with it. Just don't raise anything at all. And let's not fight. I'm fine. And when they realize that, hey, actually I don't have to live like that, it is so life-changing for a lot of them to find hope again. Because it's not the first instinct for many of them to choose to walk out from a marriage.
Yeah.
So so the messaging is so different from a lot of the things we read from social media, where it says, no, protect yourself. Just walk away if you're in a toxic relationship. But on the flip side, there are many who can't because of kids, because of financial assistance or whatever reason it is. So then what happens? That is the power of one person trying to transform the relationship, and they have to feel empowered to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, I think it's kind of cool. As hard as that is culturally, that divorce isn't really an option, it does force, or at least apply pressure that, okay, you either stay in an unhappy relationship or you do something about it. What's heartbreaking is how many people have lived in that unhappy relationship for years and have never had someone like you that feels like a safe space to actually share their feelings and know that that is a safe place.
Yeah.
It's confidential, and like if they've never had that concept before, this must be revolutionary. And then how do you feel like with people that come to you? Do they feel nervous coming to you? Is it like a lot of referrals? How do they get
Both referrals or strangers. A lot of them resonate with what I post on my Instagram. So they will DM me and say, hey, I need help. And they are quite open, actually.
Wow.
Probably because they've been quietly following me for a while.
Yeah.
So usually a very common DM that I get is, hey, my name is who and who. I've been following you for a while now. And I was just wondering if you do one-on-one coaching. So I know they probably check me out for months before they finally take that first step. So when they take that first step, there's trust. They immediately trust me because of the things that resonated with them in my posts. Yeah, so it's been interesting.
It's very
They are way more open than my own friends.
Wow.
I think there's a safety
Yeah.
in a stranger.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Like
so true.
you will not find me.
Yeah, you don't know my friends.
You don't know
Yeah.
my friends,
Yep.
and you're not gonna cross-check data or information.
Yep.
Yeah, amazing.
I love that idea you're talking about. Like, Eva, I've been following you for a while now. Like just been looking, observing, and so maybe I thought it'd be fun just with you guys about to celebrate 20 years of marriage. You've been in this a while now.
Yep.
Right. Just what do you love about time with Esther? Like, what do you get to just, if you had 24 hours just to like have fun together, what would you guys do? What do you guys do for fun?
We're actually quite easy. If we just get to spend time together, we can practically do everything, anything, or nothing.
Yeah.
So which is perfectly fine. We can
Sure.
just sit next to each other, watch a TV show.
Yep.
It's a beautiful day for me.
Yeah.
We can go out for a run, and
You
then
run together.
We run together.
Nice.
She's fast.
She's
Wow.
faster than you.
No, fast. And then we will,
Esther just politely smiling at I have beat you before.
yes. And then we will like go for breakfast together after the run. We enjoy doing that. We can sit on the plane and just sit next to each other, talk, and we enjoy long drives where we talk a lot.
Yep.
And she found out recently that I'm most focused when I'm driving
Yeah.
in conversation.
That's
Yeah.
like you, babe.
Is that right?
Yeah, some things come out of the car that's you wouldn't talk about it anywhere else.
Ah, interesting. Yeah,
Either that or you're listening to a podcast and you're checked out. But I mean, if we're together,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot. It's like you're so focused on the drive that things just come out.
Yeah.
Whereas he's very introverted in his.
Yes, and it's also because we're in a car.
Sure.
So, it's like a really small, secure, safe space.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything else but,
Yeah.
but just driving.
Right.
You can't be like sending messages.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It really helps. So we enjoy that. I enjoy driving. I love driving. So we just drive like, long distances. Of course, nothing compared to America. Like long distance is crazy. Like in Malaysia, I think the furthest we can drive from any point,
Yeah.
if I'm from KL, maybe 6 hours.
Wow.
No, 4.5, 5.
Wow.
We might
Anything
hit
further,
another
we'll
country.
go to another country.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, even
yeah.
down south, right?
Uh-huh.
4 hours, we go into Singapore.
Yep.
And you have to bring your passport. But we will drive up to Penang, up north. We just
Yeah.
Yep.
enjoy, just look forward to the time that we get to talk to each other,
Yeah.
talk about life. And
One of the things that we consciously built is the friendship. So in order to maintain that friendship, we try a lot of different stuff together that is new. So he talked about running. I wasn't into running. I love swimming, right? I'm a swimmer. Because he started running, I thought, I want to have something in common
Yes.
with my best friend. So since I can't get him to swim with me, I would run. So when I started showing up in his run, he was annoyed because it was his me time.
Yes.
yeah.
His own time, and he just wanted to train with his running watch and run on his own.
Or think through my talk.
Yeah. And I just showed up, and I'm competitive. So he thought, okay, you just catch up, okay? He didn't even care about me in his first run. He just started running. And because I was competitive, I chased him down. I was panting and I was sweating, but I chased him. And towards the end, he said, why are you chasing after me? I said, we're meant to talk and I'll run. I want to run next to you and we can have a conversation and talk. He said, no, I don't want to talk. So since then, we through all these different experiences, we discover so much about each other.
Yes.
And we're still trying to explore each other's world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what
I'm
we
sure if I join her
consciously do.
swimming, she will not talk to me.
Well, you can't, can you? So the question is, do you actually talk when you run? Because I can't imagine that's hard work to talk and run.
So my idea of a run was a jog, like a
little-
slow walk or a jog, so
Yep.
we can still talk. But I realized he's so competitive, like we
No,
can't.
I wasn't competitive. I was just trying to finish my run.
Yeah.
So when I
Focus.
ran after him, he ran faster.
Yeah. Were
So
you
we-
mad? Were you mad at the end of that run? Were you like,
Yeah.
I can't believe you?
Yeah, I
And
was
he's like, but you the one that
And
crashed
I
my
didn't
run?
know that was her expectation. I was
Yes,
just
of
doing my own
course.
thing.
But this is such a female thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, how many
Right?
times I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to do this with him. But then he, I don't say it. And then he's like, no, that's not what I.
By the way, it just happened this morning.
Yeah?
Yeah. So after my run, we were going to get food. I thought we just do a takeaway,
Yep.
bring back to the house and eat. It's so comfortable.
Yeah.
And at the traffic light, we're supposed to cross. She kept saying, I'm so hungry now. So she was trying to tell me, let's eat in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
I
I
don't-
just
I don't know why we
suddenly
talk like that.
realized, you want to eat in a restaurant? She said, yes.
Yeah.
Why don't you just tell me? She said, I don't want you to be upset. She said, I won't be upset just having a meal. I said, okay. Interesting.
I'm glad to hear that it's universal.
It's
Oh,
universal.
It's not- yeah,
It
it's
is.
a universal.
That's
I think-
transcultural.
Yeah. I think me too. I'm like, I just want to, like, whatever works for you. I'm so like, oh yeah, whatever works. Like, if you want to go, if he wanted to take out, I wouldn't say probably like, but I want to sit in. Would I? I don't think so. Sometimes maybe.
Sometimes, well, I think part of us being married to 13, you learn the
The-
frequency,
yeah,
you
the
learn how to
nuance.
translate, the nuance, right? But what is ironic, and sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't, but I'll be way more direct, but if Beck doesn't want it, it doesn't matter. Like I remember a few weeks ago, I just wanted to like, let's go have a meal together. So like, let's go grab like some food. And she's like, I don't know. Like, I kind of just want to have a night in, you know? I was like, okay, but you sure you don't want to like run and grab, like, let's just go get a burger real quick. I'm like communicating, like, I want to spend time with you. And she's like, No.
I was like, can you just go get
Can
it?
you go get it and bring it back? Can you go by yourself?
And normally I don't do that. Normally I'm not so direct.
And I was like, okay, sure, but I was like, let me just try a third time. You know? It's like, babe, will you go with me and let's go have food together? And she's like, okay, yeah.
I was like, okay, I guess you want me to come. And he's like, yeah. Did you not pick up like every cue that I've given you? I'm like, oh shoot. I didn't want to get dressed. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll get dressed. And then.
But I think what you were saying, Esther, is so integrated to that.
Yeah.
Where, yes, I think you were like, and you were like, I'm tired, I'd rather eat at home, but going, oh, I know this is important to you. I know you want to go and eat a meal together and sit down. And that's where, ironically, normally it's reversed.
Yeah.
But then this time, for whatever reason, I was just in my feelings. And
yeah, well, that's the thing. Sometimes I don't know that because quality time is one of his love languages.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get locked into whatever my mode of like life and being with the kids or being with friends and then finally he's like, whoa, like we haven't spent time together. And then I click like, oh shoot, I'm not communicating that I love him because I literally have not spent quality time with you.
But that's what I loved about that night is you were like, awesome, got dressed. We went and had a very average burger, but we had amazing conversation.
Yes.
You know? And so, but
that's
I think that's the part of, obviously, relationship. The more that you're in it, and the relationships that last are really the ones that it's not always you bringing them into your world, but it's you finding space to sacrifice and get into their world as well. I love that you're running together. And maybe we should start running. Maybe start walking together. I'm not a big runner. Maybe walk in the neighborhood.
I mean, I'm down. I always say I'm down. You're like, oh, let's go for a walk. And then we never do.
That's true. You walk with the kids, but.
In the morning. And you're like, oh, why don't you? One time, like we all went out I went out with the walk with the kids. And I invited, one kid wanted to go, Indy. And then I was like, then the other kids woke up. They're like, oh, we want to go for a walk. I'm like, okay, well, get dressed. Come on. And then Zai at the end is like still sleeping because he's almost like he's not a teenager, but he's almost 10. And I'm like, he's like, I want to come. I'm like, okay, we're waiting for you two now. Get dressed. Then we're on the walk and Joe texts. I'm like, I said to Joe, like, hey, babe, just so you know, we're all out on a walk. And he's like, oh, next time wake me up because I want to come. I'm like, oh, geez.
I feel left out.
You feel left out.
I don't really want to go on a walk, but I don't want to be left out.
But that's the thing. Then I've literally, tried to ask him. And he's like, no, you go. I'm like, exactly. You don't want to go at 6 a.m. to go for a walk in the morning.
Yeah. One question I have.
Yep.
Every episode we've done with friends and people come together is we love to talk about fights. And like how you deal with conflict and what do you feel like what's helped you guys in being married over 20 years, almost 20 years, learn how to fight really well and get on the other side of it. Your face is saying everything.
Oh my goodness.
Why are you staring at me?
Because we are quite odd.
Oh.
We hardly fight.
Hardly fight, yes.
Almost.
Let's talk about that.
Almost never.
Wow.
Okay, we fought a lot in the first 2 years of our marriage.
Yep.
Because we dated in a long distance kind of a relationship for 6 years.
Oh, 6
Oh,
years?
Yeah.
we can talk about that.
We can talk about that. Yeah.
Yes.
It's fun.
So 6 years.
6 years. She was in Australia.
Yeah.
I was in Kia.
Oh, well, so
Yeah.
was I, but at least you're on the same time zone, right?
Not
Different.
really.
3 hours.
Okay, 3 hours.
Yeah. And 6 years, right? And it
6
was
Wow.
in the era where there's no data,
Yeah.
no Skype.
Uh-huh.
So
Skype.
There was
What's that?
Skype.
no Skype, right?
There was no
So-
Skype? Okay.
So
yeah.
we had to,
No.
I have to buy this phone card to make an international call. They call
Sure.
it international trunk call.
Yeah.
And it would cost a lot, like 50 Aussie dollars for just 15 minutes
Wow.
of talk time. That's how much I could afford as a student.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even afford to pay the phone bill.
Uh-huh.
So I would fund
she
our
will-
conversations.
She will work. She fund our she
Yeah.
funds our conversation.
Yeah.
That's a good startup idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fund a conversation. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Creative
so
pioneer.
Yeah,
15
come on.
minutes of talk time every week. If you fight, you just got to solve it
Wow.
fast, quick.
So because we only have 15 minutes
Yeah.
back, so
That's really
That's
interesting.
super
there's
interesting.
there's no room for silent treatment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Or
at the back of your
sulking
mind,
or- yeah.
it's costing you money.
Yeah.
So 50 Aussie dollars is 150 ringgit. And
Wow.
I wasn't even paid in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, because we were pioneering the church.
Yeah.
And that was the reason why she had to fund the conversation, because she could work part-time.
Yep.
And I have no source of income. So my income is erratic, like if somebody drop an envelope or whatever. So yeah, so
So
Kara.
it's that 6 years of long LDR that we learn how to communicate or fight or resolve conflict.
Wow.
Because if you're fighting halfway and you don't resolve it, and then the phone goes toot, 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 you just got to wait for the next Sunday
Yeah.
to continue the
and it's only
conversation.
Sunday
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
Only once a week.
Once a
Only,
week.
that's all we could afford.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
Only
my
Sunday night.
gosh.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
So I learned to deal with resentment, all these different things
Bitterness.
quick.
Yeah.
Because the following week,
Jealousy. Yeah.
we're not upset anymore.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know whether we suppress them or I don't know. But
So that forced us into a place to really learn how to communicate
Yeah.
and understand each other
Mm.
and resolve those conflicts. So 6 years passed and then we got married.
Yeah.
Right. So the first 2 years, the first time living with each other, spending so much time together, we fought
Yep.
over the smallest things, like what to eat for dinner.
Yeah.
Our fights
no,
got
dinner time.
dinner time, like our fights got so huge
Yep.
over what to eat, when are we gonna have dinner, and we just end up fighting all these wrong battles
Yeah.
because
at the
it-
verge of divorce, because we
Wow.
cannot agree on what time we should have dinner.
That is incredible.
yeah,
Crazy.
Wild.
What is happening?
Because she has a fixed time.
Oh.
She wants to have dinner.
So it's really the personality. It's
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
were trying to control and you didn't like being controlled.
No, for me, I just can't control it because ministry, work. Like I got to meet
Okay.
people.
it was a yeah.
and I got to lead small group. And
Right.
I got meeting with the leaders.
Yes.
So before she came home, we actually quite enjoyed the LDR because I have 7 days of freedom and
Yeah.
only 15 minutes to spend with each other,
Yeah.
which
Totally.
I enjoy. But I also we enjoy our own
freedom.
space,
Yes.
right? So she kept asking me like, "What time are we having dinner tonight?" I cannot answer her. She get really upset, and I don't know why she's upset. But I told her that I have to meet people. I don't know. Like people would just knock on the office and say, "Pastor, can you pray for me or talk to me or whatever?"
Yeah.
So it was intense. It was actually very intense.
So those were the
First 2 years.
first 2 years.
And then house chores, like who's cooking, who's cleaning the house.
Yep.
Why is it me and not you? And
Just those expectations
Uh-huh.
of being
Yes.
married,
Yep.
because you don't really communicate it, right? In
Yeah.
a long distance relationship, there's not much to communicate.
Yeah.
In terms of those stuff. And when you got married, we kind of forgot to tell each other, right, what we expect,
Sure.
but we get mad when those expectations are not being met. So those first 2 years we fought a lot. After that, I think we kind of ironed it out
Yep.
and understood each other better. Then came the season of parenthood
Yeah.
when I had my first child, and he was traveling a lot more. So I had no help, I had no family. I would be taking care of like a newborn, and sometimes he would fly off for the weekend to rush home on a Monday to be with us. I remember those weekends I would get so resentful
Yeah.
because I felt you left me to care for that baby, and I
Yeah.
still have to work. I have to
Yeah.
take care of the house chores, and I still have to do this. So every time he walk in on a Monday, "Hi babe, I'm so excited to see you," I would be so angry.
Yeah.
Like so angry, and we would end up. It's those moments I learned how to give silent treatments because
now it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, it doesn't cost me anything. so we had to learn to like communicate through that, and I had to learn to tell him what kind of help I need,
Yeah.
rather than stay upset and angry and explode when he walks in. So learning to communicate my expectations earlier was something that really helped us navigate
Yeah.
those conflict. I would tell him, "Hey, this weekend if you are going off, can you at least find help for me for these 2 hours so that I
Yes.
could work on something?"
Yep.
And he would find people to help me, and I would feel supported.
Yes.
And then it became so much better after that.
Yeah.
Yep. And I kind of like, I sense if something's wrong, I usually won't let it like, becomes a big problem
Sure.
before I do anything about it.
Yep.
So I sense that, okay, the mood is changing. Okay, buck up, Kevin. Right. So I'll kind of like, show up a lot more. Do you need me to do this, to do that? And it kind of like diffuse a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I guess the long distance relationship and the amount of conversation we had, even though it's 15 minutes, but real quality time, has really helped us, all these years to really. And I think sometimes, or probably most of the time, the challenge of communication is the courage to really just say what you want to
Good
say.
job.
So
Yes.
good.
Less, you think the other party might be upset. But the problem is when you don't say it, that's why they're upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we kind of like brutally honest, like I would tell her, babe, I need a hot drink now. Can you help me? She'd say, oh yeah, I'll go. And then like, we are like almost going to bed and she's like, somebody has to turn off the light. I said, it's on your side. The switch is on your side. But I need you to do it. You're the husband. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna, collect more cookie points for future, So yeah, it worked out really well for us.
Yeah.
Another thing, probably growing up, I've only seen my parents fought in front of us maybe just 2 times.
Yeah.
There's one time because we were rushing out of the house to try to catch a movie, but we couldn't find the padlock for the house, the grill.
Yeah.
And then we were late and mom was yelling, dad was yelling, and we got really scared.
Wow.
But that was the only time.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of like figure out at some point they can be not fighting, right? So maybe when they went to the room.
Yeah.
So if we really have some difficult conversation, we'll go to the room and won't do it in front of the kids, and try to just take a deep breath, count to 10, go to the room, and suddenly it will actually have better conversation than just fighting and yelling, because after a while it's no longer about the issue, right?
Yeah.
No, it's
right.
It's
not.
about, why did you raise your voice? No, I did not raise my voice. You did.
I was raising my voice to meet your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, and with Esther now coaching so many couples, it really helped us.
Could you feel the difference
Oh yeah,
from
Yeah.
her?
yeah. But sometimes she will make me the object lesson, so it's kind of like,
Because these are things that it would never go through my mind. Some of the things that people overthink
Yes.
Yeah.
about, like what they said, what they meant, why are their actions like that, and they start ruminating and they overthink and they become negative and it ends up in a conflict, right? And when they talk about it, I became very aware that these thoughts were not in me,
Yeah.
right? And hearing so much of those conversations day in, day out, sometimes I feel like it has influenced my way of seeing conflict. And
yeah,
I'm a lot more conscious on how he might be thinking, or how some of the things I might be suppressing.
Yeah.
So I learned to just talk about it and just ask, right, or communicate it openly and not assume or expect. So we can remember our major fights, although we don't fight a lot. I remember, and this is something I talk about a lot. We had a major fight on a plane once, heading somewhere. So he doesn't fight with me a lot on all the small stuff, but if it touches values,
Yeah.
right? Oh, he would fight. So this was a fight regarding values. So we were on a plane and heading to, I think, Bali for a friend's event. So we were all so happy. So all of a sudden, sitting next to him, I said, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you that I signed up for this particular course. That's going to take up so much of my time and I can't be there for this.
Yep.
He changed. I could see his face change, and he started questioning me about my decision-making process, my values. Why did I decide such a major thing without talking to him? How, what is the course about? On and on and on. And I started to notice myself. I started to shrink,
Yeah.
right? I'm not a fighter. So when I'm faced with that confrontation, I shut down. So that is when it's a very awakening moment for me
Yeah.
to notice myself, right? I was shut down. I have nothing else to say. I'm flooded. There's nothing that can come out from my mouth. And he went on and on and on and on, right? So finally he took a break, maybe like after 10 to 15 minutes to get coffee and to probably process his thoughts.
Sure.
So when he came back for it, after a couple of minutes, he turned over to my seat, looked at me. I was sleeping. I decided to take a nap
Oh, wow.
because I was so overwhelmed that I
Yeah.
needed to run away from that situation
Right.
for a while.
And she couldn't because she was window seat.
Yeah.
And I was out.
Yeah.
So, and he was so mad that how could you sleep?
Yes,
Sure,
I would be
yeah.
like that too.
I was
Joe
like,
would understand.
I'm not
Yes.
done.
Yeah.
Actually, because the course was not a great course.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a personal development kind of a course.
Yeah. But some of the values that they practice was not really aligned
Yeah.
to what we practice, what we believe.
Yeah, sure.
So I went on and on, and I said, "You were under pressure, were you? Like you're not supposed to go, right?" And I went on and went on, and then suddenly, she's sleeping. I'm like, "You're kidding me? You
Yeah, I'd be mad too.
can't be sleeping now." and then after that, I just thought, "Oh, maybe she's tired. She slept." And then we reached there, checked into the hotel. I mean, I was okay. I didn't just kept at it.
Yeah.
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 When we landed, took our luggage, went to the hotel, and everyone's happy. Check into the room. It's nice resort. Suddenly, in the afternoon, it dawned upon me: did you avoid me and sleep? She said yes. And I just started laughing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize that that's what she would do.
Yeah.
But at that point, I just thought maybe she did, and then she told me yes. I said, "Okay, babe, I think it's fine. We talk about it, and I didn't make her do anything.
Yeah.
I just want her to know that's what I think.
Yeah.
We cool."
Yeah.
And then after that,
So I needed that sleep. So in my sleep, I was processing what I'm gonna say, right?
Yes.
My thoughts, like think about it.
and what would she do after?
Yeah. So once I had that space and time, I could come back to that conversation
Yeah.
and said, okay, hey, I'm sorry that I didn't, right? I own my mistake, and okay, this is what I'm gonna do, right? And we talk it out.
Yep.
So that in itself was something that really helped me discover my patterns. That in high conflict situations, I tend to avoid because I'm not as quick in giving my opinion
Sure.
or what I think about it. I need space, I need time. So this was something that we discovered, right?
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah.
don't fight a lot.
Yeah.
So in such situation, that gave us the space to really talk it out and say, hey, in those moments, I really can't. So if you expect me to fight you with whatever I think, or I can't.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we understand each other.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I didn't think it was a fight. It was a therapy session. Just a bit.
It was
went on
a-
a bit intense therapy, like
There-
workout,
There's
decision-making
therapy, yeah,
process,
yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I guess it is a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But no, that's so
conflict.
important being able to know what the other person's conflict style is.
Yeah.
Whether I need time to process or
Yeah.
I need time to dive in. Yeah, we dealt with that a lot early on, where I was like you, Esther, or I needed time to think, and I was like, it was like a slow burn, and Beck was a little more feisty, and like, let's deal with this now. So we had to find the rhythms.
Yeah.
And there were some moments where I would have to, or I would decide, okay, I'm gonna try to process a little bit quicker because it's eating you up from the inside out.
Yeah.
And then vice versa. Sometimes she was like, okay, I can take some time. We don't need to deal with this right now.
Yeah.
I can let you go play basketball. I used to, for me, sometimes I would go play basketball with friends. And it'd be in those 2 hours of just like not thinking about it. It's the irony for me, not thinking about it allowed me to think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. That's right.
Then to be able to come back and so we can get on the same page. Because that was always the goal, was alignment. Right? How do we realign? How do we, if there's a disconnect or there's a conflict, and similar with that, we don't fight a ton,
No.
but and maybe it is the LDR, the long distance relationship. We did long distance for a year,
Cool.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it wasn't
year?
as expensive for us. We had Skype at least during our dating time, but yeah, we had to be very intentional
Yeah, because you don't want to spend the whole time fighting.
Yeah, and it was the middle of the night for me, so like it's not worth staying up till 3 a.m. to fight about like this dumb little issue, you know? Like, yeah, let's get there quickly. But I love that insight about, and I feel like there's something really in that.
Yeah.
That because you had such limited time, you had to decide, are we going to waste it on the
That's right.
on the conflict? And I wonder how many times in relationships, because we have so much time,
Yeah.
it
That's
just
true.
becomes the like spinny wheel, or you talk yourself to death, or you're like, you argue and pull out every angle because you have time. I wonder if we could get to resolution quicker if we realized how much time we're wasting.
I think that the limit really helped us because you have to fight fast and heal fast.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
So we heal quick.
And one thing I noticed is that then you don't have time to sit in your emotions.
No.
Yeah, no time.
And I mean, I was a very emotional person when I started dating Joe. So everything. I don't know. I was definitely way more. Okay, I was way more unhinged emotionally. I'm much more. Right?
Yes.
Of course you are.
Of course.
Tell me I've grown.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You definitely have.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think I would have just gone into the emotion because it felt good. And I think that's what we can do. But then we sabotage not only the other person, we sabotage ourselves.
Yeah.
And if you don't have, I felt like when we had conflict, Joe was so strong on his values that he was like, he was very clear. I don't want to have a relationship where we keep going through a pattern of like you being jealous of something. Like, I don't want to keep having this conversation over and over. And I'm like, okay, so now I have to decide, well, am I going to be jealous because I can't spend time with you and you're spending time with other people because I'm in Australia, you're in LA? Do I get jealous about that, or do I find new ways to communicate so I don't have that emotion and that we spend our time wisely?
Yeah.
So I wonder, I'm sure you guys had to just like, okay, I'm going to take those emotions out because they're kind of, they take up our time and
That's right.
they're not actually real.
No.
Yeah.
They're just feelings of
Yeah.
insecurities
Yeah.
from past.
I think contrary to what most people think, I don't like fights. I avoid fights if at all possible.
Yeah.
I don't like conflicts. I don't know how many people actually like conflicts, right?
Yeah.
But I have worked out within me the difference between conviction and preference. So that was conviction issue
Yeah.
because I think the decision making was wrong. But sometimes I'm upset by her. Then I have to ask myself, is that my conviction or is it just a preference?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just my way of doing it or her way of doing it. If it's kind of like, it's just a preference, right? So basically no one is right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I just have my way, she wants her way. So I may be upset. So I just try to walk around and kind of like, put the ego down and say, the world's not about you. Okay? It's just it's a matter of preference.
Yep.
Let it go. So I kind of like this unqualified apology, like, hi babe, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, can I help you with this?
Yeah.
It kind of like, all right, I'm easing out.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
No more.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's good.
It's fine.
Letting go of pride, letting go
Let
of
it
your
go.
ego.
Because it's just a preference.
Yeah.
I think it took a long time to actually recognize that.
Yeah.
Because I always if nobody challenges you, you always think whatever you like to do is right.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
Because that's how I've been brought up.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
I am serving the Lord. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Right? But it's just preference. Yeah.
That's
good.
really wise.
Okay, in our last few minutes together, every time we have a guest on, we ask this one simple but hopefully profound question of if you had one piece of advice for somebody in a relationship. It could be married, could be dating, but yeah, just lost my phone's gone.
Goes.
The way down.
Hopefully we don't drop the question. What would every relationship has like foundational, you have core principles, like things that are really unique about Kevin and Esther Loo. What would be a piece of advice that you feel like has been a foundational aspect of your relationship that you could leave with people?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
In the last couple of years, I discovered that the longer it gets, in a relationship, in a marriage.
Yeah.
It sounds really cliche, but it's really the better it gets. The longer it goes, the better it gets.
Yeah, that's good.
Because there's so much more. Like our marriage now is way better than when we first got started. You know, when we first got started, there's a lot of sparks and emotion, and it's like, you know, impromptu, all out.
Sure.
But now it's beautiful. There's depth,
Yeah.
and we can talk about things without worrying a lot about reaction. So people just have to believe that quitting a relationship at any point of time will forfeit you the opportunity to experience
Wow.
the better part that comes the year after.
Wow,
that's
that's great.
So you know, whether it's the 5th year, the 10th year, because you have not been through the 11th year. So that's what I discovered in the last couple of years. I really enjoyed all my conversation with her, whether we are cooking together at home or cleaning the house, or I hope you
I
feel the
love
same.
that.
It's
really love
profound.
that.
Agree. But
But now be better.
so I needed the space to think. Right? So while he was talking, I really thought about this. A lot of times in long-term marriages, it started out well, right? We're so motivated to love each other, to do this for each other. Then along the way, when kids come along, when work becomes stressful, you have a lot more financial responsibilities, parental responsibilities, and everything. After a while, you could look back at the relationship or that marriage and you think, oh, like, yeah, it's my obligation. I think, yeah, it's my obligation to be this wife for you. I should be doing this for my kids. That's where people lose it.
Yeah.
And they start to
Wow.
think, oh, yeah, I have to. Right? Like,
Wow.
oh, yeah, I guess I have to forgive. I guess we have to resolve conflict. Rather than, oh, I want to. Because when we started out, it's always, I want to be with you. I
Yeah.
want to do this.
Yeah.
So keeping that something very conscious that you tweak within yourself. Because I've spoken to so many different couples struggling with their marriages. They get stuck with this I have to feeling,
Yeah.
right? Where that motivation is no longer genuine.
Yeah.
They do things because they felt they have to, rather than, hey, if I really want to make this work, how would I live my life differently, right? And it's something we're very conscious with what we do. We would take time off to just travel, just the two of us. It is not convenient at all because
Sure.
we have to figure out our kids, we have to figure out all these different things. But because we want to spend time with each other, that motivation itself, it's way more powerful for us to build this friendship
Yeah.
that we so desire.
Yeah. There's one word that I could never find in English, in Chinese.
Yeah.
That, love is love. Love is, like with emotion and all. But there's another kind of expression of love where you really care for each other. So, and I always tell people, I think you love your wife, but you don't care for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, in Chinese, that word, it's clearly different. So,
What is that word?
Yeah. I was
yeah,
really
so
sure.
that means you don't want her
What's
to...
the Chinese word though?
So, 爱 is love, 疼 is like you really care for her. So that caring for her is like, oh, I don't want my wife to struggle by herself. Like, all the responsibilities of taking care of the kids is all on her.
Yeah.
Because I care, I 疼 her. So I want to ease her out. Like, not because I have to, but because I care for her. Like, this is our family. So I think when love is just romantic and feelings
Wow.
and emotion and always try to come up with surprises and building from one high to another high, I think that's difficult. We want to build deeper and deeper.
Yes.
Like, can I help you with this? Because I see that you're so tired. Like, some days, this amazing woman has got so many coaching calls, like 4-5 people, like 5 hours, like she's locked in the room, and then after that, she still had to churn out content. I would just walk in and say, you want me to make you a drink, or I do dinner, I take care of the boys, put them to bed, you do your stuff, because she cannot lose. She's competitive. I cannot have things ugly. I'm not motivated by winning. I'm motivated by all things beautiful.
Yeah.
So she cannot lose. I don't want things to get ugly. So it kind of like, all right, you do your thing, I'll take care of the rest, because I want everything to be aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. So I will take care of the kids, put the kids to bed, make them pasta, you know. So I think that's the other thing that is quite missing in a lot of relationship.
Yeah.
Because love very often is defined by what will you do for me.
Yeah.
But love is actually, what am I going to do for you?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
beautiful.
And that tongue, that care, is where love is about giving myself. And until I have something to give away, maybe I shouldn't get involved in a relationship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good.
If I have nothing to give away, don't get into a relationship. If I don't have anything to give away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, then I'm only getting the relationship
To
to
get-
take
get.
something from
Yeah.
me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even in friendship, it will not work.
Yeah, for
Oh
sure.
my
Across
gosh,
the board,
that's so good.
I know
Yeah.
you're about to go in
You wanna
a whole
go-
other direction,
No,
but
that is just blowing my mind.
That's a-
Kevin and Esther, like both of
great-
you
okay, go ahead.
are so profound and so wise. Like, just even the way that you hold yourself. I mean, the way that you see the world, and then the way you're poised, and the way that you think deeply about things. You're so intelligent. Like, it's just oozing out of you effortlessly. And I'm like, I'm just watching in amazement of you. And I love the way that you honor each other. And it's very evident that you love each other, that you are each other's best friends, and that you have a great team. And that you know that you're stronger together when you're both winning
Yeah.
than one's winning, one's losing. Like, even going back to when Esther was trying to figure out who she is, it was like, trust God, but you're trying to give her space, like, go explore,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that's what you would do. And in that exploration, you found your calling, your purpose.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing to watch your marriage. And
Thank you.
I truly believe people that are listening will be in awe and have gained so much from this. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you for having
you.
us.
We tongue you very much.
Oh,
I'm sure my pronunciation was off.
yes. I understood that, so it's correct then. Yeah.
But seriously, like, we joke that when we first met, we thought we were British brothers.
Yes, because I thought you were from England. And with Beck's accent, I
Yeah.
felt like,
Oh my,
Yeah.
yes,
That's that
my-
British vibe.
Yeah.
But
I'll
he's-
receive that.
His English accent's terrible.
It's terrible. It always turns Scottish, no matter what.
And Indian. It's
Yeah,
like,
and then it's Scottish Indian. Yeah,
I was like, don't do it, babe.
nah, but yes, for the first time we met you guys, we fell in love.
Yes.
Like, I love that you can be family even all across the world, and we are your biggest champions.
Thank you.
Supporting you and behind you, and just it's been an honor just to sit and chat with you for however long this has been. We could do another hour, 2 hours with you. Maybe we'll save it for the next time that you come to LA. But thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Not
Thank
just for
you.
the time you spent with us, but thank you for the life that you've lived. It's given you credibility to really invest in people in a profound way and speak life into people. And yeah, we pray and we hope a blessing on everything you touch, because you guys can be trusted with much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we love you, and
Really means a lot.
Love you guys.
yes, likewise.
Thank you.
You want to sign us off?
Thank you for watching and listening to Unguarded. We hope you loved this conversation like we have. And, tune in, send it to someone that you think this would be valuable to them. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spotify. You can follow us, comment, let us know what you think. Ask us questions, because we have loved meeting you. All the people that have come up to us and said we're watching, we love you. It's so cool, and we want to hear from you and what you want to know. So, till next time,
Bye.
Bye.
bye.